Hey guys, what's up? So today is going to be the official final video of the Winter Biannual Bibliothon 2015. I have had so much fun this week. I really can't even begin to tell you how amazing this week was. Thank you to absolutely everyone who participated this week, whether it had been on one of the video challenges or the constant sprints we were hosting this week on our Twitter Bibliothon. It was just so amazing, and it's really all thanks to you guys. I have a playlist below that has every single video I have posted about the Biannual Bibliothon, from the original announcement video to my previous video being the winners for the video challenges. So if you'd like, if you missed anything from this week, you can check it out all right there. But today I'm going to be giving you guys my complete wrap up from this past week. Now, as you can see, I have 7 books here. You guys remember I had 5 on my TBR and I thought I would only finish 3. Technically, I read from 7 books this week. Officially, I completed 5 of them, but I did read from 2 others, so I will be discussing my entire course of the week throughout the reading and everything in this video. So let's get started. As I said in my day 1 wrap-up video, I had started In the Afterlife by Alexandra Bracken right before the Biannual Bibliothon started. I really wanted to finish it before, but I just couldn't, and then as soon as midnight hit on the first day of Biannual Bibliothon, I was looking at it and I was like, there's no way I'm putting this book down. I couldn't fathom the idea of me not finishing this book, waiting an entire week to finish such a phenomenal conclusion to a great series, so I just had to read it and count it as part of my reading for this week. This is the final book in the conclusion of the Darkest Minds trilogy. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars because it was just so amazing. I shed so many tears over this book, whether it be for happy reasons, for sad reasons, for the stupidest reasons. This book was an emotional roller coaster and I loved every second of it. Just counting this past week, I read 149 pages of In the Afterlife, and let me tell you, it was some of the best 149 last pages of a book since City of Heavenly Fire. I am going to be filming a review of this soon. It's probably not going to be up till the end of January like all my other videos, but I will have a review of it soon, so you'll be able to hear all my feels and everything about it later. So the first book that I actually completed from the actual TBR for this week was My True Love Gave to Me by a bunch of authors. I just tried to think of one author, but look, there's 12. This completed the challenge for a group chosen book. I read all 12 stories. I have to say I didn't love all of them. I gave it like 3.5 stars out of 5. Some were really good, and some were pretty good, and some were pretty bad, and some of them were just horrible. All the hosts for the Biannual Bibliothon had a live show completely discussing this book, dissecting every last bit of each and every story in this book. So if you've read this book and you want to know what all of us thought about it, you can check the link below. My favorite was probably the Stephanie Perkins story, and my least favorite was probably the one written by Kelly Link, because I just did not understand it at all. They're all really good authors with a lot of dedicated fans, so I do understand the hype for it, but it just wasn't my favorite read of the week. And this added 320 pages onto my page count for this week. I forgot to say it before, but My True Love Gave to Me also completed the challenge for a winter themed book, and for the book completing the challenge for a graphic novel and a book with less than 1,000 ratings on Goodreads, I picked The Only Good Dalek by Mike Collins and Justin Richards. I really don't like graphic novels, but this is the first one I've ever read recreationally, and I have to say I really did enjoy it. I got through it really quickly in like one sitting. It's only 128 pages. The art was pretty cool. I really like the premise of it. I could totally see it as a Doctor Who episode because it was laid out exactly the way an episode would have been. It's really cool, and if there are any more Doctor Who graphic novels, I probably will pick them up because I did enjoy it, and maybe it'll actually get me into graphic novels and I can read more of those this year. And I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars because although it wasn't my favorite of the week, I did really enjoy it, and it was a bit of a pick-me-up from My True Love Gave to Me. The third book I read this week completed the challenge for Read It Adult book, and I read Silver Linings Playbook by Matthew Quick. 5 out of 5 stars. This book was freaking phenomenal. I don't read a lot of adult, but I'm not necessarily like put off just because it's an adult novel, but this book was so good. I really loved the main character. I loved everything he went through, all of the events that happened over the course of this book. Really well written, like phenomenally written, and I loved every second of it. It's only 298 pages, and it was 298 pages of pure gold. But while the movie, in my opinion, wasn't a very accurate adaptation, the book was amazing. The fourth book I read this week completes the challenge for pick a book from a genre you would normally skip. I chose sci-fi because it's just generally not the first book I think to pick up, but I read Alienated by Melissa Landers, and I absolutely loved it. This is the kind of book that really reminds you why you read YA. It has that supernatural factor that we all know and love, where the girl falls in love with the exchange student alien. It's got the funny one-liners, and the chemistry between the two characters of the main romance is just tangible. It gives you the feeling of you actually being in the whole high school situation where all this is going on, but hello, Earth has contact with aliens, so it just makes the book even crazier, and it was a really lovely read. I really needed a book like this in my life, and I'm so glad I finally decided to pick up this book. Oh my god, it was so good. 344 pages of Alienated, and each page gets 5 stars. The 5th and final book that was on my TBR for this week was going to complete the challenge for Finish Series You Already Started. I did finish In the Afterlight, so it could count for that challenge, but I didn't read the entire book of In the Afterlight this week, so I had to pick up another one, and I had it on my TBR, and the book is The Retribution of Mary Dyer by Michelle Hodkins. I have to say I was slightly disappointed with this book. I really, really loved the first 2 books in the Mary Dyer trilogy. Like, unbelievably, like, blistering hot love for those books. I was expecting a really epic conclusion, and this was kind of short of epic for me. I feel like the whole time this book was just going in circles. I feel like nothing happened. I feel like the first half of the book, it was the same conversation over and over and over again, and the second half of the book was the same conversation over and over again. I guess a little bit of it goes to the fact that I haven't read the Mary Dyer series in a year. I finished The Evolution in, I think, I don't know, maybe around like March-ish. So it's been almost a year. It's been a couple months since I've connected with these characters, and it is definitely a very complex world, a very complex plot. So I naturally was going to be a little confused, so that might have had something to do with it. I just really wasn't overly satisfied with this book. I did still enjoy it. It made me chuckle like classic Mary Dyer. But I just really didn't love it. Definitely not my favorite book of the week, but it was the biggest book, which I'm very proud of completing. It was 470 pages, and I gave it 3.5 stars. And so although I finished everything on my TBR and completed all of the challenges for the Biannual Bibliothon, I had another book on me, and I was like, you know what, this day isn't even close to being over, let me start a new book. So I started Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the 2nd book in the Natural series, and let me tell you, this series is freaking amazing. If you've ever heard of the show Criminal Minds, it's all about these FBI profilers that catch serial killers based on their behavior and just certain connections that they make from previous killers and all that cool stuff. I love Criminal Minds, so naturally I knew I was going to love this book. It's like got this whole mystery contemporary feel, and it's like really, really cool. I highly, highly recommend it. But this is the 2nd book in the series. I didn't even know it was out until I looked at it at Barnes & Noble. My friend sent me a picture of her holding it, and I literally thought it was a novella, and I was like, oh my god, there's a new novella out. That's so freaking cool, because I didn't know when the sequel was supposed to come out. So I walk into Barnes & Noble and I pick it up, and I'm like, okay, this is not a novella. I literally had a silent panic attack because I was like, oh my god, like, this is the 2nd book in the Natural series. What? I was so excited to pick it up, and I was just like, this is definitely going to be my first read after the Biannual Bibliothon. I was able to start it before it ended. I read like 144 pages of it, and now I'm kind of almost done with it, but I'm absolutely loving it, and it's so, so good. I already know it's going to get 5 out of 5 stars, so I can just tell you that right off the bat. So these are all the books that I read this past week for the first Biannual Bibliothon. 1,814 pages of pure bliss. I am so happy with everything I read this week, and I'm so happy that you guys were able to read with me. So thank you to I'm dropping books. Thank you to everyone who participated this week, and I will see you guys soon for a new video, and then I will see you guys again in the summer for the 2nd Biannual Bibliothon. Bye!